All right, everybody, so today we are going to be talking about the season finale of True Detective Season 2. And so I wanted to get into a couple different things about this because obviously the end of the episode was jam-packed with all kind of action and exciting things. First of all, what I wanted to talk to you about with this episode, really, we're just going to get right into it here, is the shootout after Ray and Bezzerides figure out that one of the twins in the picture, the guy, he was actually the one that killed Casper. They went to the house, they figured that out. It was told to them that he definitely killed Casper. And so then they went to this train station. This was an exciting scene because, we got to see this shootout occur. I just really didn't have any connection, for me personally, to the guy that actually killed Casper, the guy twin. I didn't care about either of the other policemen that were involved in this. The one dude that was talking to Ray, and then the other one who actually was like watching his back. I really didn't care about either of those characters. So when the one guy died, I really didn't care. And just an exciting scene. It's very nerve-wracking because you think, oh, is Ray gonna die in that scene or whatever? But he gets out of it because Bezzerides followed him and kind of saved him and got him out of there. But the sad part about it obviously was the fact that the recording of the one guy is telling Ray that he can be free, because we obviously know everything wasn't his fault with like Paul and things like that. The recorder gets destroyed, and so poor Ray is now still on the run, and he's probably not going to be able to get out of it at this point because the guy is now dead, who was the one that admitted essentially that Ray was off the hook. So that kind of led up to the rest of the episode unfolding. And I really didn't care for that scene just because I really didn't have a lot of care about those characters mainly. However, I did like the scene in general because it was kind of an action-packed scene. Okay, so I want to talk about Frank and the scene wherever he kills all the Russians. I really thought that scene was cool. They get their gas masks on, they go and they murder all of the Russian guys in that group. And Frank does get to kill the main Russian guy, who has been kind of tormenting him a little bit. So I really felt good at the end of this scene because, at the beginning of the episode, Frank's trying to get rid of his woman and say, hey, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Even though he thinks something bad might happen to him, he gets rid of her so that she, can be safe while he's dealing with all this stuff. And I really felt good because I thought, okay, well, he just killed the Russian guys. Those were the main guys that were after him, especially after he, burnt down the clubs and things like that. So I felt pretty good about Frank. I really wasn't sure at that point what would happen because, like I said in my previous video, I didn't know what would happen to Frank, but I thought there was obviously the possibility that he would not be able to get out of town because of the Russian guys, but now they're all dead. So it's very exciting. That was a cool scene too, just because they completely attacked them unsuspecting, and it was neat. So then we kind of get into the end of the episode, where Ray is trying to drive to Bezzerides, and they're going to be supposedly getting on this boat to go to Venezuela. So, and as Ray's going, typical, and I totally understand where he came from with this, but he stops to see his son one last time and just basically say goodbye whenever he sees the exit to where his son's school would be. And it's sad because it's completely obvious that something bad is going to happen to him at this point, just because, when these characters are making a bad decision, you're like, ah, crap, there's obviously something is going to go wrong, because obviously these people that are after Ray are going to be watching the kids' school, or assuming Ray might go and try to see his son one last time. So, whenever he makes that decision to veer off, okay, that's really not going to, work out for him at all. And that's exactly what happened. So he goes to see his son, he comes back, and he realizes there's a tracker on his car, and there's just no way he's going to be able to get out of this, he realizes. But I can see where he's coming from. As a father, he really thought that he wanted to see his son one last time. Like I've said in previous reviews, he cares so much about his son. Pretty much that's the only thing he really cares about in the world. And so he wants to see him one last time before he leaves for good. So then he, he's got the tracker in his car. Bezzerides realizes she's gonna have to get on the boat by herself, and that's exactly what she does. She gets on alone, and Ray gets into this, chase with these other guys coming after him. And I think you know, let's just talk about the end of Ray here for a second. I really felt bad with actually three things to do with Ray. Is first of all, the poor little recording that he tried to email his son. Sad. At the end, I was so mad that they actually made it fail at the end on his cell phone so that the son never gets the recording. I feel like I would have just felt better had it said upload complete or something like that. I know he was in the woods and clearly that was half the problem of why it wasn't sending, but the fact that like he just got completely shot up and destroyed and then the stupid thing doesn't even upload, that's just depressing. And I just started getting upset at that. Obviously Ray goes out, he kills a couple of the guys when he's getting chased, and then he goes out pretty gruesomely. But we knew that he was not going to make it because there was no way they were going to let him once they had that tracker on. They were just going to, you know, find him and go after him. A couple of the other sad things, I started crying. First of all, whenever they showed the part with his dad getting upset, whenever he was watching the television and seeing that Ray was killed, that just destroyed me inside. Just started crying for that. I thought that was one of the saddest moments because, you know, his dad really cared for him and I feel bad. Then the other thing was whenever his ex-wife found out about the paternity test being like 99.9% positive for Ray, and that's just sad too because, you know, he knew the whole time and now he will never know for sure that it was his son, but it was true, and that's just so sad. So all of those combined, they just made me completely an emotional wreck when watching this part of the episode. So then I just wanted to talk about Frank real quick. So I was not expecting this to happen to Frank. Like I said, just because the Russians had been taken out by Frank, I really thought the main threat to him was gone. And I didn't realize that this was going to happen with the other guys that wanted to sell their drugs or whatever they were doing at the clubs that Ray had burned down. They actually came after Ray, and I was not expecting that to happen. And they took him out and they were gonna kill him, and that's just what they did. They stabbed him, you know, and he's dying as he's walking to try to, you know, get back to town, and I was not expecting that. I really thought he might be able to get out of it because of how well it went with the Russians. So that was kind of surprising to me at the end. I honestly completely forgot about those guys. I never thought in my mind, you know, okay, they are gonna be the ones to come after Ray. I just thought, okay, Russians, that's it, they're gone, we're okay. But obviously that was not the case, and they did kill Frank. And then at the very end, just real quick, I wanted to talk about, thought it was weird. It's kind of cool and stuff that Bezzerides and Ray had a child, you know, from their one night together, but thought it was a little weird, thought it was a little corny. I feel like that's sort of how things end in like some of the movies. Oh, well then they had a kid. I liked it for the fact that Frank's wife or whatever, she like got to hang out with the baby. I thought she actually like adopted the baby or something like that. Was excited for her. Then when I found out it was Bezzerides' baby, I was kind of like, oh, okay, that's neat and everything, but not that exciting. But who knows where they're going. They're obviously on the move, and nice. I'm glad that somebody made it out of this season, but I was very disappointed that it ended up being Bezzerides just because I liked like Ray a little bit better, but you know, you kind of have a feeling that he might die. So pretty much 3 out of our 4 main characters have died by the end of the season. So that was really depressing, but I thought that the episode was really good. The only thing I didn't like was mainly the fact that the Casper death, once they figured out who it was almost just like kind of like, I don't really care who killed Casper at this point. The end result wasn't like shocking or, oh, it was that person, or, you know, just like a shocking moment. It was just kind of dull to me after, you know, they're trying to work on this, you know, thing the whole season, and all of a sudden at the end it's like, oh, this guy killed him. Oh, okay. Who is that? Don't really care about him. No attachment to this character. So wasn't that exciting from that standpoint, but it really was more exciting from just a character building and those characters dying scenario for me for this season. So like I said, I had a little trouble at the beginning of the season. Now that I've seen the end of the season and kind of developed more with the characters in the past couple episodes, I think it would be worthwhile to rewatch the season from front to finish and see whether or not it's easier to get into because I have that connection with the characters. I think I'm gonna rewatch it just for myself to see how I feel about it, just because I think now that I kind of understand it a little bit more, you can easily go through the season and figure out more things, and you may be able to even catch some things you weren't really being able to understand when everything was happening. Because for me, I understand, like, some of you guys are really smart, maybe you understand these things, but it was a little bit harder for me to kind of understand what was going on because there were so many different characters and different storylines and whatever. But overall, I liked the end of the season, and I think it was worthwhile to watch, even though I was having some trouble at the beginning. So I just wanted to know, what did you guys like about the end of the episode? Were you shocked or surprised that those characters died? Are you looking forward to maybe a season 3 of True Detective? I don't know. So just let me know what you think in the comments below. So please subscribe, and I hope that you enjoyed the videos that I made for this season, even though I didn't do a couple episodes. I really did hope that you enjoyed it. And please like the video, and I will see you guys next for some reviews of The Walking Dead. If you happen to watch that show, you can subscribe to me, and I will be putting up some videos for those shows that are going to be coming up. And I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this TV show this season. And like I said, please let me know in the comments what you thought of the end of the season, and maybe just what you thought about the season as a whole. And I will see you guys next time.